Hello, I'm Richard Borton. I'm the gas compliance manager here at SOA Housing. Today we're going to go through a few energy saving tips, advice, and hopefully it can save you some money on your energy bills.
I'm Paul Neal. I'm Energy and Sustainability Manager at SOA Housing, and I'm going to talk about retrofit and some improvements you can do to your property. Any tips on radiators and heating?
Yeah, so what I would say is if there are any rooms that you're not maybe using in your property or not using as much, try turning down your thermostatic radiator valves. You can turn them off. Obviously, the less water you're heating in your heating system, the less gas you're going to be burning, and effectively, the more money you're going to be saving.
Would you turn them down to zero, or is there a minimum?
I would say it depends. I wouldn't necessarily recommend turning them right down to zero. If we get a cold snap, just keep that little bit of heat in the room, and you never know, you might be needing to use that room later on in the day. So I would definitely. It's all about balancing and finding comfort in the rooms that you use the most. If there are rooms, like I say, that you don't use as much, turn the thermostatic radiators down to 1 or 2, and they'll come on occasionally just to keep the chill off things.
Right, excellent.
So, Paul, just so I have a target for net zero.
So our targets are net zero as a business for all our operations by 2030, and then as a whole organization, including all the housing, by 2050.
2050. That's great. And I understand you're going to talk about retrofit today. So would you like to explain what retrofit is?
So we making use of government grants to retrofit our poorest performing properties. So we're using the Energy Performance Certificate grade, and any properties that are a D or below, we have to get up to a C by 2030 using different measures such as solar panels, new heating systems, loft insulation, and wall insulation. So because it's a government grant, we have to get all our properties that are D or below EPC level to a C. What we're targeting at the moment, we're doing 179 properties just using solar panels and loft insulation top up. So there's a sweet spot. If you're a D65 to a high E, then you will get to a C. So we're targeting those properties. Any tenant can check on the government website, the EPC register, what their EPC level is, and then they can contact us to see if we can include them in the program.
That's great.
If they don't have an up-to-date EPC, we can send out a company called E8 Property Services who will update the EPC, and then they'll tell us what the level is. As far as heating is concerned, what about the boilers? What do you recommend?
So obviously a healthy boiler is an efficient boiler, and I can't overemphasize the importance of letting our gas contractors in to get your boilers serviced. If you receive a letter from our contractors, SureServe Compliance South Limited, and for whatever reason you can't make that appointment, just contact the numbers on the letter, or alternatively, you can contact me or one of the gas team at SOA Housing.
So one of the critical things for keeping the heat in a property is loft insulation, because heat rises. The appropriate level is 300 to 400 mil of loft insulation. A lot of people have 100 to 200, but we'll top it up. And if the insulation is like that, we run it perpendicular, which keeps the heat in. It is critical that tenants don't put stuff back up in their loft, because if it compresses the insulation, it doesn't work effectively. So if we're installing loft insulation now, we encourage the tenants to have a good clear out of their loft before we top it up. If the tenants are elderly or disabled, we have a team that will take out the materials. They can sort it out. And if necessary, if there's a lot of quality material up there, we can supply a skip. We do encourage tenants to know about the insulation of their property. If they think their wall insulation, if they're very cold, we can check their wall insulation. If there's a cavity, we can have a look inside the cavity. If there's solid building, it's difficult to do the insulation as it costs lots of money, but it is something that we're looking at. We did do some under the last grant in certain areas, and it made a massive difference. All the tenants were very happy with it. They turned down or turned off their heating, which made a massive difference. So the insulation obviously is from the outside. The solar panels will be done in a day. Loft insulation, obviously we need to clear the loft first. But as it's a part of a government grant, we also have to look at the ventilation in the property. So we will install extract fans in all wet rooms, in bathrooms and kitchens, and also we will undercut doors, so there's constant air change because there's a lot of moisture in houses just from people breathing, and we need to get that moisture out. So the extract fans we use, they run constantly at a low speed just to get the air flowing, and then there's a boost function with a humidity stat. So if somebody's cooking or if they're in the shower, it takes all the moisture out. Any other tips you'd like to share, Richard?
Yeah, so what I would say is I think it's very important for people to test their heating consistently throughout the year. I mean, we've all done it. You leave your heating off throughout the summer, and then you come to turn it on in September, October time, and you've got a valve stick in, and it will just make things a lot easier for yourself. So if you just turn it on 1 or 2 times throughout the summer to free up any valves and to save you any breakdowns in the cold snaps.
And if your heating is very old, we can check on our system how old it is. If it's over 20 years old, if it's gas central heating, we can look at a boiler upgrade.
That's right, yeah. So our current upgrade program gives the boiler a 20-year life cycle. So if you're in any doubt, then contact us at Sohart, and we can give you a rough estimate of either yes, your heating's due, or it's due in X years.
But we'll also look at other heating as part of the retrofit. If you've got really old storage heaters, we can potentially upgrade to an air source heat pump. Just contact us and we'll look into it.
What I would also say is, use your curtains as much as possible. On a nice sunny day, it may be freezing cold outside, but you'd be amazed at how much warmth that actually lets in by simply opening your curtains during the day. And vice versa on an evening, closing your curtains. But what I would say is with that, just make sure that your curtains aren't obstructing any radiators.
And with the retrofit side, we're getting quite a few disappointed tenants that are already in EPC-C. And unfortunately, they fit the criteria in this grant, but there will be further grants in the future. And then obviously with our target for net zero by 2050, we will be installing more solar panels on more properties post 2030, but it depends on what the government criteria are. And another thing that comes up with the retrofit is the amount of surveys and the amount of visits. Unfortunately, because it's a government grant, we have to follow a procedure called PAS 2035, which means we have to verify the EPC rating if there is an existing EPC register. Then we have to do an assessment to see what work is required to get to an EPC-C. We do the work, and then we have to have a post-inspection to make sure that the work is compliant. PAS 2035 is a lot of work, but it means we don't get poor workmanship because it has to be lodged with Trustmark, which covers us in the future if the contractors go bust. It is a very worthwhile process because it gives us reassurance of the quality of the work. It's been in the media quite a lot recently about poor work under government grants, but that was pre-PAS 2035. So even though it seems like there's many visits, it's worth it for the good quality of the work.
So if you're finding that your electric bills are too high, if you've got an electric heating system like storage heaters, then get in contact with us because there are various heating solutions that we can look into and discuss with you.
And then just on the solar panels, under the current grant, we're installing batteries. So when the PV is generating, you use that electricity in the house first. If you don't need it, it goes to the battery, which you can use in the evening. And then if you don't use that or if the battery's full, it goes to the electricity grid and you get SEG payments, which is a payment that you'll receive from your energy provider actually, but you need a letter from SOA just to show that we're allowing you to claim those payments. So it's a win-win.
Just one last thing from me. If your heating system doesn't seem right or sound right, report it to us.